The Narcissists, Seduction, Shuffle, Hoover. The Hoover, a tried and trusted method of gaining fuel and exerting control over a victim once again. Whether the Hoover is benign or malign, the Hoover is an integral part of our repertoire. They are often part of a concerted action which is designed to break down your defences and suck you back in, so we are able to exert control over you once again. Sometimes it is to con you into resuming the relationship again. Sometimes it is purely to hurt you and draw negative fuel. We may devise a particular scenario, use other people to effect the Hoover by proxy, and plan an effective way of establishing contact, and then unleashing the Hoover. For the Hoover to be effective, it must have two constituent parts. 1, a method of contact. 2, a method of causing a reaction, be it positive or negative. We may have devised a delightful scenario which will cause you to come running back to us oozing sympathy-based fuel. But if we cannot establish contact with you, it's pointless. This is why I often mention how it may seem that we've left you all alone, but all it is that we are waiting for a moment to establish contact so we can then cause the reaction. We are of course mindful that if you escaped us, you've no doubt instigated no contact, and therefore your defences remain high. You are on a state of alert and wary about what we are doing. Sometimes the sheer force of the Hoover and our magnetic personalities prove enough to surmount those defences. But this can take time, and in particular energy, and as you know, we prefer to conserve both. There is a particular Hoover, which I call the Seduction Shuffle. It is invariably a benign Hoover, and relies on you thinking we will do something, and you are wrong-footed when we do not, only for us to then make our move. The circumstances are such that we allow you to know that we are in the vicinity. This may be through somebody else. It may be by walking past where you live or work. We do not make any approach to you. We do not look towards where you might be watching us from. We do not reach out. All we do is want you to know that we are nearby, and then we do nothing. You have been expecting us to get in touch. When we first reappear, or you get news of us being nearby, you will raise your defences again, expecting an approach. But then, when it does not happen, you may well be taken aback and confused. Why has he not tried to get in touch? He walked past your window the other day, but did not even look towards you. He passed the office, but acted as if he did not realise. Perhaps he is not interested in me anymore. Why would that be the case? You almost feel insulted by the fact that we are back in town and we have not looked you up. You wonder what is wrong, and in that usual way of yours, you start to question yourself. This failure to act, when we show up, leaves you somewhat bewildered, possibly relieved, and your defences come down. Maybe we have moved on. Perhaps we are no longer interested in you, although you cannot help but want to know why this is. Your curiosity is piqued, and you are torn between knowing you should stay away, but also want to find out why we have not approached you. Is it the case that we are no longer interested? Could this really be true? You need to know. Part of you wants the confirmation that it is over. Part of you wants to know why you are not good enough for us to approach you again. And your desire to know, driven by your emotional thinking, is difficult to control. Word reaches you from a third party that they were talking to us, but no, we didn't mention you, or even ask about you. This troubles you, although you know you should not care, but you can't help but do so. Admittedly, there may be some of you who will not react to this method, but they are generally in the minority. The desire to perhaps achieve some kind of understanding as to what has happened, some kind of closure, even perhaps the chance to get a few things off your chest, still churns and burns inside of you. The fact that we looked well has drawn your interest again, rekindling thoughts and feelings from that first seduction. But overall, you want to know why the shark is swimming nearby again, but has not come hunting for you. We know these thoughts will be going through your head. We know you saw us. We know that you showed disappointment when a member of our coterie said they had spoken to you and made no mention. Already you have begun to feel and provide fuel to us, and we are content to wait for that delicious Hoover fuel. Hoover fuel is always enjoyable, whether it is relief, joy, loving, or upset. It all empowers us, but it is especially rewarding when you voluntarily come into our sphere of influence again, with defences lowered as you think that you are abler to handle our machinations and manipulations. You decide that you want to find out what we are doing back in the area, who we are now with, and most of all, the reason why we have not been in touch with you. This temptation, driven as ever by your surging emotional thinking, proves too great. And after all, one text message or a telephone conversation to get in touch with us can't really do any harm, can it? Once we see that message from you, or your name appears on the mobile phone screen, or we don't recognise the number, but we recognise your voice when we answer, we can send even more fuel. You have made the contact. You have got in touch with us. And this tells us that you have opened yourself up to provide us with the sought-after reaction. And this waiting game has once again proven successful. We can now commence sustained and more direct hoovers to garner greater quantities of fuel and, where appropriate, ensnare you and draw you back into the formal relationship.